Alright. Alright, just resume recording. Secondary script pitch. Now that this has escalated into a detective competition, or rather a contest to see who can come up with a more solid structure for this story, I would like to throw my hat into the ring. In fact, I feel I must. You too, Sarah Larry? I mean, your character has just seemed to draw much less attraction compared to everyone else, so... Of course, I have a question though, not about the film. What I'm doing here? No, never mind that. I already decided I would try to live up to the Queen's hopes for me. ... I have been thinking about this man I've been inhabiting, Antonio. I wasn't able to learn much about him from Murasaki's Shibuki, so I still don't know who he is. All I know is he shares my name and also used to be a court musician. Ha! How bitterly ironic. ... Still, I assure you there is a slight chance that Antonio was a flesh and blood person who truly existed. Then I can't imagine that he must be thinking. It took me some time, but eventually I arrived at the core of It took me some time, but eventually I did arrive at the core who Antonio is. Yeah, it was tough getting into our character, wasn't it? I'm really glad Murasaki helped me out of making Ryoma similar to me. Indeed, she did the same for me and Antonio. It was a coincidence, conscious choice of her part. Once I realized that the rest was relatively easy. Though, at the same time, I also noticed that there was a contradiction in this story. A contradiction? Given how much has been improvised, I'm not sure there's no point in worrying about a contradiction or two. Now this one goes back to the very beginning, when Murasaki Shibuki was still involved with the production. I suspected she planned that detail intentionally and thought long and hard about what it could mean. I don't remember anything strange. All I remember is that that footage came out well. That was from the very beginning. Go on, think back. Surely you remember this exchange between Antonio and Ryoma. Oh, that's alright. At any rate, I'm surprised you made it through the massacre. I remember they slaughtered everyone in the palace that day, even the non-combatants. That's, oh yeah, I remember that now. But what's so weird about that line? Everything. Like, if they say he killed all the non-combatants, would he still be dead too? Take Vargas and Garcia. How do you think they survived the massacre when their castle fell? How the hell would I know? Maybe they just got lucky? You need to ask. The royal family's retainers clearly risked their lives to help them escape. That is what it is to be a loyal servant. Even the face of your country is imminent to collapse. You don't say. Maybe that means Vargas and Garcia had been fending for themselves all this time because they were the only ones who managed to escape. Besides, maybe it's because the prince witnessed royalty like that when things were so dire. That he grew up with such a strong sense of justice. Now that I think about it, it doesn't seem strange that the former government court position could have survived. Exactly. When the castle fell, the only one meriting any sort of protection would have been royalty. Antonio would never have been spared, no matter how talented a musician may have been. Perhaps Antonio had some fans among the courts, just as the prince has his retainers. Fans so devoted as to willing to risk their lives for him. No one would do that, even for a peerless genius, let alone an ordinary person. I can think of a few. For the purpose of this story, assuming that there was one, quite so odd as that. No, the reason Tony survived the attack is obvious, and that is... he was relieved of his post as a court musician just before the revolution took place. Very convenient, unless someone knows beforehand that the revolution will happen. Yeah, that tracks, but why was he fired then? Heh, as you need to ask. Because he lacked talent. And without such talent, he must have been utterly lost once he no longer had his position at the palace. That's awful. But then, in this case, how did he become a popular musician? There is a great deal of difference between what is popular with the masses and what is appreciated at courts. And a great deal of differences. Sounds like a guy speaking from experience. I am not secretary. There is no point in bringing that up now. Alright, that should fill in the blanks for Antonio's background. The next question is, why did he so frequently wish to come to the minstrel? Now that you mention it, he did say he had to pull every string he could just to get here. After hearing rumors that Miguel had a fondness for young women, he may have thought to present Elise as a gift of some sort. Whoa! Scumbag much? Pricks shouldn't do the world a favor and die in fire. Hell, I got some gas and plenty of matches right here. Ready to burn? Asshole! Just as a reminder, there still hasn't been a single crime committed here. Anyway, I still don't get why Tony would do that. He already have found a success as a popular musician, right? He got fame and money. What else would a guy want at this point? That's exactly it. Antonio came to Meihousou in search of something neither fame nor money could provide him. Something he wanted badly enough that he would willingly sell off his own partner. And what would that be? Sheet music. The sheet music left here by the past court musicians. I don't know how much they left behind, but whatever it was had to be here in the Meihousou. Miguel was going around collecting all sorts of documents anyway, so I don't see why sheet music could be among them. No matter how successful Antonio was among the larger populace, it could never wipe away the stain of his youthful failure, and he found himself unable to turn away from it completely. So he wanted to see the music his dead colleagues had left behind one more time. He made up for his prior lack of skills over the past 10 years, or was the gap unsurmountable, no matter how hard he would work. They do say to write from experience if you want to quick infuse a work with gravitas. While the final details are of course quite different, it would seem bringing the elements of Tony Starlight's own life here bear that out. Yes, it is hell of a lot to throw at the viewer, but that's how it should be. I think it's a wonderful idea. But it doesn't really get to the truth of the larger story, or help with the conclusion, does it? If you went with it, it would make the story all about Antonio rather than the murder of the minstrel. I did think about how I could fix this story existing pieces together. But I'm not as practiced at this as the others. Don't expect much regarding the truth of this case. That said, I did think of a conclusion. I imagine it is just the sort of thing you would expect from an Avenger. Well, what is it? Color me curious. I, for one, would be quite interested in hearing a conclusion that doesn't cast me as the mastermind. I see no point in going into details on a story that may never be filmed. All I will say for now is that if we do set about filming it, I expect I will need Sir Tristan's help. I see. Well, if it helps is required, then I will be glad to give it. Though, of course, that won't happen since my idea is sure to be the one that's chosen. At least I think so. Jeez, you got it so worked up. And number 12, John the Arc script pitch. Okay, let's see what this is all about. Guess it's my turn now. Oh, I thought I would go next, but of course, I'm happy to let you go first. After all, there's no way you could top the idea I come up with. Tristan, I'm sorry that it might blow your idea out of the water. Tristan seems like he comes up with something interesting, but I expect this contest where it will be determined more than one who speaks up first. Don't mind if I do, then. First off, how did you guys interpret Elie's mood at the beginning? Well, since she saw someone she dislikes enough to insult mercilessly collapse right in front of her, I guess I say she was the kind of, well, suck it mood. I remember Musaki actually asked John Alter to say so many mean things as possible. It's like you were born for the role. Oh, my sides are splitting. You're looking for an ass kicking, master? You just had to ask. Anyway, I say Elise struck me as being jealous and pretty. I can see why you guys would think that, but my interpretation is completely different. I know Elise isn't exactly the delicate well-filed type, especially not when me playing her. ... Really? Nothing? So glad I bite my tongue there. Anyway, I read something very interesting in a philosophy book the other day. Sure. Not that it'll be a manga or anything. It said that people only get jealous of others who have something they want. I don't really know anything about that kind of whiny crap, but it sounds right to me. So if Elise was jealous of Gabriella, you might think it is because of her money. But it couldn't be that, because Elise was already comfortable in her singing career and on her way of being truly rich. No, I think that if Elise was actually jealous of her, it would only be because Gabrielle was a better singer. So I don't think she was jealous, I think she just goes deeper than that. Well, if Elise really did upset Gabrielle, it would probably make her professional life a lot harder, no matter how popular a singer she is. Indeed, if she cared about her career that much, I can't imagine she would truly risk incurring an authority figure wrath. And if she merely disliked Gabrielle, she couldn't just badmouth her behind her back. So if Elise wasn't jealous of Gabriella, what did she feel? I say she was strongly fixated on her. Huh? There was, the way I see it, Elise had a very professional reasoning for coming to the Meihousou. A reason that motivated her to pull every string she could to get in, just like Antonio did for his sheet music. She wanted to see her beloved childhood friend again. A childhood friend, would that be Gabriella? Back when this country was still a kingdom of Nadi Naha, Elise was a childhood friend living in poverty. A child living in poverty. There's no way she could have a good life in the final months leading up to the coup. Luckily, Elise had a close friend she could always lean on for support. I think that friend was Gabriella. Let's say she was called Kaoru back when she was little. While at it, I adopted Ryoma's idea of making her Danzo's lost sister, Daizou. Ah, thanks. I'm honored. And since we already had a scene where I thought Elise might be Danzo's sister, there shouldn't be any problem establishing that around the same age. But one day, Kaoru suddenly disappeared. Rumors had it that General Cortez took her as his daughter. And since Elise was still a commoner, there was no way she would be able to see her friend again, now that she is basically royalty. But Elise didn't give up. She vowed to see her friend again, and used what few family bonds she had to find Antonio, and work around to become a singer famous enough to rub shoulders with royalty. Eventually, all that hard work paid off, and she finally came to face with Kaoru again. But Gabriella did not treat you like a childhood friend. If anything, she seemed like she didn't even recognize you at all. I don't know if she really didn't recognize me, or if she had just pretended not to. But either way, you can imagine how pissed off I would be to come all the way to have my closest childhood friend ignored me. I think that is why I was such a bitch to her, even though I was happy to see her, she was alive and well. You still overdid it a bit. Just saying. Yeah, probably. Also, shut up! Think about it from Kaoru's perspective. There was nothing she would do about her brother going missing, or about being taken away by some creepy old guy from the old court. It doesn't matter how nice her knife was, she was still a bird in a glided cage. She must have to bury her feelings deep down, just to get through the day. That is why I wanted Kaoru to stop suffering in silence. I wanted to hear how she really felt, even if it meant she'd never speak to me again. That is all. That's a lot to take in, but I love how dramatic it is. Although, does that mean Elise isn't the culprit then? Hell no! There's no way Elise would do anything to ruin her chances of seeing Gabriella's reaction after coming all this way. And if anything, she would be furious at the culprits for robbing her of this opportunity. Not to mention that if Gabriella ends up dying from this, she will never have another chance to talk to her. So Elise would throw everything she had into finding the culprit for Gabriella's sake, as much as of her own. The culprit, Would Miguel fit that role here? Like he has in other scenarios? Oh yeah, Miguel. Nah, that old kid can just stay dead so he doesn't get in the way. Ouch! Stab me, why don't ya? Ugh, just deal with it. You've been dead this whole time anyway. And Elise wouldn't have any reason to undergo combat training, so she couldn't do any fighting scenes anyway. Besides, I already know about this story's end. But if Miguel isn't the mastermind, how do you tend to tie up all the loose ends? Simple. Gabrielle's a young widow. It's no stretch to think that people around her might get some wicked ideas. I say her servant wanted to steal all the Cortez legacy from themselves. Makes sense. The government could take back any land and property they try to steal, but if they have dirt on the people in power, that would give them considerably more freedom to act as they like. But of course, they didn't be the first to be suspected if they killed Gabriella, with no one else around, so they waited for an opportunity like this to try to poison her. All they have to do is to pin their crime on one of the guests. Yes, that works. This way, we can say that Salazar tried to kill Vargas to make his death look like a suicide. Still, this will make Salazar the culprit. Would it not be somewhat anticlimactic to have him already dead from the film's conclusion? Hey, I said servant, plural. Salazar is not the only one in this scenario. A number of servants. Still, we never see any of these other servants during the film. How do we explain that? I mean, sure, that's a little weird if you think about it, but it'll also be weird if there's only one servant in this giant mansion, right? True, that is highly unrealistic. So we could say that there is actually lots of servants behind the scene, and they just don't even actually appear to be on screen. Now I see. That sounds like a great idea. I suppose we could request that Caldea's staff play the servants, but seems like a lot to ask at this late in the production. Well, sure, it'll be a huge challenge getting 10 or 20 extras here on this point, but we don't have to do that. All we need is a single actor. And luckily for us, we got someone perfectly ordinary and unmiraculously right here with us. Are you thinking about me? I'm afraid I don't know who you mean. Oh god, Tristan. You're so dense. She's standing right there, looking at the confused dweebs as we speak. Aren't you, Rena Sleet? What are you talking about? How are you such an idiot? I'm talking about making you into the culprit, dumbass! That's it! Oh, sorry, I'm afraid I got a little carried away. See, John Alter's idea is a staple of mystery novels, mystery movies. Where it turns out a person behind the camera was the actual one of the characters all along. And above all, this way, Senpai can be part of the cast too. Think of it as a wonderful idea. Good point. If Ren stayed a servant here, it only makes sense that she'll be sticking close to us all this time. And that also means she'll be able to keep an eye on everything and move about freely. In a sense, it makes her way more of a villain than Moriarty. Was it really necessary to bring me into this? God damn it. Then, when I point to the culprit, the camera can do a 180. And reveal Ren Sleet as the mastermind who's literally been working behind the scenes this whole time. Intriguing, your idea has a great deal of merit to it. Fire, woman! Damn straight! She's on fire! Still, I know it's kind of a stretch, so I wouldn't blame you if you want to go with it. You know, being a creative is kind of fun. Come to think of it, you also said you already knew who the story ends, right, John? Will you tell us what you have in mind? Oh well, it's nothing that special. After I reveal the culprit, it is basically just a scene of me and a sleeping beauty Gabrielle where I tell her how I really feel. as for how that go, you can find out once we start filming. Oh, Joker.